Court may be adjourned, but the conversation continues because we all know paternity matters. On this season of Paternity Matters.
Paternity is always taboo. It's something that we don't talk about. But now we are starting to have these conversations, and there's a way, I believe, to make things that used to be taboo teachable. You've lived with a question of paternity. It has always been clear that your dad was one of how many possible fathers?
4. The only time he came is when we was getting high. He didn't acknowledge his child.
I only see this woman for 5 years now, for sudden I'm the daddy of.
I've never met him a day in my life.
The man that's on your birth certificate?
Yes, I do not know this man.
I actually do spoil my kids. We eating filet mignon tonight. You want a new pair of shoes? We'll get a new pair of shoes. This is normal.
Because you don't want some little boy to come up and be like,
yeah,
I'm
it's like, yeah, I'm used to it. My dad been doing that for me.
Some men, if they were paid to sleep, they would wake up and quit.
Ooh.
They have no, and that comes with fatherhood.
You said it, not me.
1 month into our relationship, she was pregnant. I was like, what do you mean you're pregnant?
My dad, he's one of my best friends. And I couldn't imagine my life without him because he's my hero.
I was angry with God.
As men and as black men specifically, nobody cares about what we go through when it comes to parenting. So it's very difficult.
How did the lady end up in the mix? She just slipped on a banana peel and just landed up in the mix right up in your marriage? What happened?
Her other baby daddy was going up the steps. Now was going down the steps. Could have been his baby. I don't know. Because the girl she was getting high. She was on crack. And she was doing her thing with everybody.
Whatever happens, Lord, just let me be strong.
On Paternity Matters, our mission is to reflect on the importance of fatherhood, celebrate and recognize incredible fathers, and also help people resolve questions of paternity. I created this show in honor of my father. He passed away a couple months ago, and he played such a huge role in my life. I mean, my father is my number one fan, my hero, my very, very first love. And I wanted to make sure in my lifetime I helped as many people as I possibly could be reconnected, reunited with their fathers. And questions of paternity linger on and on and on. They create generational curses that are so hard to break. And so with this show, we wanted to come in and help people get the truth they needed to move forward, but also in the process, honor how fabulous it is to be a father. Go Blue Daddy.
Today we are going to be journeying through the wild ride of fatherhood and all it entails with 3 incredible fathers, Idris, Will, and Derek. All right, welcome, guys. Let's get started. So listen, we know you're amazing fathers, and I've heard a little bit about each of you, but we are here also to help inspire and motivate and empower other fathers, other families that may be going through similar things that you've been through. And we want to help them navigate those challenges and, most importantly, find the courage and the desire to stay in the fight, because we believe paternity matters, right?
Right. Sure.
All right. So, Idris, I want to start with you. Can you share a little bit about your story?
Where do I begin? So, in terms of me becoming a father, my father, he was never in my life. So, one of my biggest things that I want to do in life was become a great father. However, I had my life set. I was going to go to college, get the good job, get married, all of that. But that didn't happen. It was my last year in college. It's interesting. I was actually interested in this young lady, and her sister came and visited her. So her sister and I, we spent the night. We had a wonderful time and everything, getting to know each other. And then she just kept coming to see me. About 1 month into our relationship, she was pregnant. And I was like, what do you mean you're pregnant? She was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. I'm late. My period is late. And we took the test, and yeah, she was indeed pregnant. We had only known each other for 1 month. I was 22 at the time. She was 25. So, we had the baby. Everything was seemed to be going well, but we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. Fast forward, I ended up eventually getting married. When I got married, I have 2 children with my ex-wife, and then, she has a child as well. So I assumed the role of her father also.
I will say this, paternity, right, can be a very volatile, place, especially when marriages and relationships are crumbling. I think men being in the position of paternity are often more vulnerable than society really gives credit or credence to. You can demand to see your children. Just because you're late on your child support doesn't mean that you can't see your children. Because everything's structured, and when these breakings happen, we do look at the mother, and I get it, the mother who has the children and they need support. But the father is also very vulnerable.
But Lauren, it's not that easy. I hear what you're saying, and yeah, that all makes sense, but it's really not that easy. I just got out of a 3.5-year custody battle that I initiated. I have twin daughters that are 14, and I have a today 20-month-old daughter. But for my twin girls, me and their mother haven't been together in 11 years, 12 years. But once I got married to my now wife, she started making it difficult for me getting my children. So my children stay 9 miles away from me. We had an agreement for visitation, and I get them Tuesday, Thursday, and every other weekend, which equated to about half the month. For spring break, my wife and I planned to take my daughters to Florida. It was my Thursday and my weekend. Their mother wouldn't allow me to get them. So at the time, I was giving them $500 a month. I stopped giving it to her because I was like, why am I giving you $500 a month when I can't even get my children on my days? So in turn, what she did was stop letting me get them all together. Mm-hmm. So now I had to initiate the process, and I had to lawyer up, of course. Yeah. But that was a huge process because going back, when I got out of the Army, I was in the Army for 10 years. When I got out of the Army, I moved here. Their mother and I were talking, but she said that she was separated and going through a divorce. But when I moved down here, she was still living in the same house as her husband. So obviously I'm telling her, this can't work that way. So she eventually tells her husband that, that he has to go. She ends up conceiving my daughters while she's still legally married. Well, in the state of Georgia now, I don't have any rights to my children.
That's right. He's the legal father.
Absolutely.
Because she's married to him.
I didn't have any rights to my children. So that was just crazy to begin with. But I was always there. And she had 2 daughters from a previous marriage. So she's now a single mother of 4. And of course, she's all for me getting my children 50% of the time because she's a single mother of 4. And I'm sure she wanted that because she felt like it would disrupt my personal life some. Yeah. But I wanted my daughters. So that wasn't an issue. So I've always been in my daughter's life. Fast forward to now we're in this custody battle where I'm trying to get joint custody. For whatever reason, as men and as black men specifically, nobody cares about what we go through when it comes to parenting. And it's unfortunate that when you're co-parenting, you're not ever considered an equal parent. Mm-hmm. And that hurts. Yeah. I had a part in creating this person. So why shouldn't I be considered equally? So it's very difficult. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's powerful for you to stand in this truth that so many men stand in. And to be very, very open and honest about the pain. Like I said, we look at these depictions in society, and it's always somebody that don't want to be the father, and then they dance off. And that is not the case with the majority of men. Men want to be fathers. They want to be present. They want to be treated fairly and honored and have a say. And that fight that you're in, the fight that you've been in for all of this time, it takes a toll on you.
Join us next week to see how this story turns out.
So one of my daughters, she was talking to one of the middle child who's 6 years old. She was talking to one of her friends. I guess they were talking about what did our dads do and everything. So she Googled me. And when she Googled me, that's how she found out I was in prison.
Welcome to Paternity Matters Street Talk. I am your host, Shanika Taylor, and we're about to hit these streets to see if the people know their TV dads. Okay, where y'all from?
Georgia.
Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay, ATL's in the house. All right, you got 20 seconds to name 5 TV dads. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
Blackish.
Dre.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Would it be Uncle Phil? Yeah.
Full House.
What's the dad's, what? The Tanner, I know, but what's his first name?
Family Matters.
Carl Winslow.
There we go. Moesha.
I don't watch that.
Sister. You got it. You got it. Good job. Y'all did good. Y'all knew that Blackish.
Yeah.
That's his show.
I watched that show like 7 times.
Yeah, he watched the whole 8 seasons like
6
so many
times.
times.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
addicted to that.
All right, fill in the blank for me. Paternity matters to me because paternity's fatherhood. So fatherhood matters to me because
My father's great, and he provides for us.
Aww.
My father works really hard and to give a good life for us.
He's always giving us the best life he can ever give us.
Because black fathers matter.
There y'all go. Who the dad? You the guy. You provide for them and you give them what they need. All right? All right, thank you guys so much. You guys killed it. I hope y'all enjoyed Paternity Matters Street Talk. Enjoy the rest of the show with Judge Lauren Lake.
Mr. Kevin Strong, what a blessing it is to have you here today on this very first shoot date of Paternity Matters. I want to hear a little bit about you and your story.
Paternity matters to me because I think about my dad in regards to our relationship. Tumultuous, a lot of dysfunction. It started out kind of crazy because I remember I was about 11 years old. One day I was going through looking for something in my house through some papers. And I came across my birth certificate.
You found a birth certificate that didn't match the name you had been using at school.
That's right. So at that point, I went to my mother and I said, why is my name different on this birth certificate and, in school, and then daddy's name is this? Well, back then, in that generation, they had this saying, children are to be seen and not heard.
No, yes. I grew up in that era, too.
I never got to know my father. We didn't talk a lot. He pretty much provided financially for us. He ruled with an iron fist. He was no joke. Discipline was big for him. He grew up in the deep rural part of the South. So sometimes I used to tell myself as an adult, there's no telling what things this man went through, what he saw, what he was exposed to. And then having a father walk away from him at the age of 9, well, he could only give me what was given to him. And I think he tried to do a little bit better.
You really can't give what you don't have, but you can try to imagine, try to think about the things you don't have and give what you think. But it is very hard. Yeah. And I love that you were able to say, as a man, right? I think often when we think about fatherhood, there's this tendency, or there's a cultural norm, I think, that's been created in our society. It's just completely demonized if a father did not exhibit or show what we believe to be near perfection in terms of his role. But when you look at his life in the arc of who he was as a man, what he encountered, what he experienced, and maybe how those experiences, those traumas affected him and what he was able to give to others, I think then it's a healing for us. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. And I think what really did that for me was we as we grew up, as I stated, there were a lot of things that happened. And it was one particular incident that brought a deep resentment between me and my dad.
Stay tuned to see what test led to this testimony.
So I was angry with God. I said, you let me go through all of that stuff.
All right, Tammy from Louisiana wrote in. She said, Judge Lauren, about 3 months ago, I went to a party, got drunk, and I had sex with 2 different men in the same evening. I'm pregnant now. I have no clue who the father is, and I don't know what to do. Well, Tammy, you definitely have a question of paternity if you had sex with both of them during the window of conception. With that said, you may need to be honest with both of the partners and get yourself prepared to have that paternity test. Now, you can have it while you're pregnant if you want, or you can wait till the baby's born, but you should get the answers, not just for yourself, but for the child and for the father.
Hey family, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.
Do you need help resolving a question of paternity? Maybe I can help. Text me at 818-850-6568. That's 818-850-6568. We'll see you next time on Paternity Matters, because it's personal.